The BlackStarTech 480-volt 7.5 horsepower MOV Power Cart provides a portable 480-volt AC three-phase bidirectional power supply to operate motor-operated valves, or MOVs, up to 7 horsepower. The cart has enough battery capacity to perform over 50 valve strokes per charge, depending on the size of the MOV. When not used for MOV stroking, an alternate receptacle outlet can be utilized as a portable 240-volt power island for welding operations. This video demonstrates the basic operation of the BlackStarTech 480-volt 7.5 horsepower MOV Power Cart. On the front panel of the cart are the following controls: inverter on and off switch, SW1, AC to variable frequency drive, VFD, breaker CB2, which supplies power to the VFD, 480-volt output breaker CB1. The reverse forward switch selects the direction of the phase rotation. The run and stop buttons, PB1 and PB2, which start and stop the VFD. The battery voltage meter. And the VFD controller, which controls motor parameter settings. Outputs include 120-volt control power, 240-volt control power, and 480-volt VFD output. On the back of the cart is the 120-volt input maintenance charger, a 240-volt welding socket, and the battery disconnect switch. Setup. The first step of the setup procedure is to disconnect the maintenance charger cable and transport the cart to your location. Verify that all breakers and control power switches are in the off position and all output cables are disconnected. Then, turn on the battery disconnect switch at the rear panel. The next step is to turn the inverter power switch, SW1, to on. You should hear a beep, which means that the inverter is charging up. The voltage is verified and displayed on the battery meter. Full charge is above 27 volts. Low charge is 24 volts. The cart will trip or fail to operate at less than 22 volts. Then, turn on the AC to VFD breaker, CB2. Wait until VFD pre-charge is complete and VFD display is on. You can check your programming on the VFD. You can now program the VFD for the selected MOV. Make control power. The next step is connecting either 120-volt or 240-volt control power and motive power to the MOV motor using the supplied adapters. On the adapter cable, there are fuse slugs that attach to the MCC bucket by replacing its fuses with these slugs. The white end is non-conductive, and the brass end is inserted towards the actual control power to the valve and provides that power out. The next step is to provide power to the valve motor. Loosen the screw. Land the spade of the L1 BST main power output cable wire to L1 input terminal of the open or closed contactor. Tighten the screw. Perform the same connection for the L2 and L3 BST main power output cables to their respective spades on the MOV. Clip the green ground alligator clip of the BST main power output cable wire to the frame of the cubicle. Then, plug the three-phase cable into the cart. Turn on the VFD 480-volt breaker to provide power to the MOV. Note: a key operation and safety tip. If you're using a dead man switch, you must first turn the power on to the dead man's switch to power the contactors before pressing the run button on the cart. If you don't perform this sequence, you will trip the cart with overvoltage, which could damage the cart. Press the run button, PB1, to open the MOV. The output indicator light should illuminate, confirming output, and you should see voltage. You should monitor the MOV travel direction to make sure voltage rotation is in the correct direction. If it's not traveling in the correct direction, set the rotation switch to either reverse or forward, and the valve will travel in the correct direction. There is no need to reverse the wired connections. Once the strokes are complete, press the stop button, PB2, to run the strokes back in the opposite direction. To reverse the travel, set the rotation switch to the opposite direction and press Run again. Once the valve travel has ceased, press Stop. Restoration and shutdown. Shut off the 480-volt output switch, CB1, and wait 10 seconds to discharge the capacitors. Then close the AC to VFD breaker, CB2. Close the SW1 inverter power switch. Turn off the battery disconnect on the back of the cart and disconnect from the MOV. Turn the inverter power switch, SW1, to on to discharge the input capacitors. After 10 seconds have elapsed, turn off the SW1 inverter power switch. Unplug the BST 480-volt power output cable from the cart and remove L1, L2, L3, and output cable wires from the cubicle. Unplug the BST control power output cable from the cart and remove the BST control power output cable wires, ACN and ACL, from the circuit. To put the cart back into storage, plug the maintenance charger cable into the cart. If you have any questions related to the operation of the 480-volt, 7.5 horsepower MOV Power Cart, please contact BlackStarTech.